how the energy code tag worked before, and I think we got different information from the energy modeler and from the codes consultants. So
Okay.
ideally they're yeah, it's really it's a struggle because we had, I don't know, 20 positions and
Yeah,
everybody contributed.
sure. It makes sense. I guess my other question, and Chell, since you're so involved in it, what involvement with the government energy policy, what did that bring to the table that we aren't already providing as far as the government representation based on the state's energy policy, which is what we're guiding? So that question that position has me kind of going, what is that? So if you've got insight on that, it'd be helpful too. And it seems like that would be one maybe we could move down to the subject matter expert list as well. Again, when I know we're trying to create some positions because we only have 15, and as most folks have voted throughout this process to split the building official and cities and counties folks. Maybe the cities and counties folks in this instance would be government energy policy. I don't know. Again, that may not be consistent with the others, but just questions. Thanks for the input.
I guess yeah, it's hard to do this, and I hadn't really thought about removing that one. So let me give it a minute to think.
We haven't explored the ex officio in the tax, just for discussion purposes.
Do we want to hear from other folks while Chael is?
I was under the impression, and maybe I'm just remembering wrong, that the energy code tags, are different. And are we limited to 15 on the energy code since there was so much involvement and there wasn't a quorum issue?
I guess, yeah, we never had quorum issues and we have an alternate for many positions. So from that perspective, limiting to 15 so that we can get a quorum, it was not an issue.
And the other reason why you'd limit is because it would kind of, the more people means the more unruly perhaps. But I'm just wondering if the energy code was part of that 15 limit, or I was under the impression that there could be more there, but it was a while ago, so.
I don't think it would have hurt anything if it was 16 or 17, but it just would need to be we need to be very thoughtful about it. So expanding it 1 or 2, I don't think hurts anything from my perspective.
Sorry, my internet kicked me off yet again. If we were going to do that, do we need a motion to expand the tag beyond 15? Chell?
I don't know. I guess if we approved an energy code tag list and it had 16 in it, that could be part of the motion.
Okay. All right. I don't know where we left off. Tom, go ahead.
I think Jay was right ahead of me.
Okay, Jay.
Thank you. The item under 14, building owner property manager, says it's a requirement in 27A 25. And looking at that, it says general contractors, comma, building owners and managers, comma, design professionals, comma, utilities, and other interested and affected parties. Given that this legislation requires the utilities specifically and the building owners specifically, that's 3 positions that we're adding. So I think, in my point of view, that make give us some flexibility to say we want to expand beyond 15 when the legislation is requiring these particular positions, because I'm not sure what of these, given that requirement, that I would eliminate to get down to 15. And so I would definitely be supportive of going beyond that in this case.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Tom, I'm guessing you're next.
Yeah, I was actually gonna jump on board with that same line of thinking, energy code has got a lot of activity, there's a lot of interest. There's a tremendous amount of moving parts, for the next several years, and having a few more voices of experts on that tag, I think would be very beneficial.
Okay, Micah.
Yeah, I'll be the voice of opposition here, and I don't believe that's equitable. Again, there's nothing in our codes mandating that energy code is special, yet we have an individual SBCC staff member dedicated to it, and now we're increasing tag sizes beyond the other codes. Again, that's not an equitable item. I'm not sure what makes the energy code so special that everyone's eyes are all the positions that are necessary. I understand there are voices that need to be heard, but that's the same with every code. So if I remember correctly, when we talked about the 15 for energy code, their members have been on that tag for a decade. So I think that the limitation will also allow for some more rotation in these folks, and stop having the same with other tags, stop having the same people over and over and over. I'm sure you all get tired of hearing me say stuff, so maybe that's a benefit to rotate people out. But again, I think we need to look at this as an equitable issue as well. When we have these different tags, we're placing energy above every other code. It has dedicated staff. Now it has larger, we're proposing larger tags. I don't think that's appropriate. I think the limit of 15, we can work within that, and you've got some additional subject matter experts on hold. In addition to that, there's nothing that says all these folks cannot participate in the tag. So talking about the chaos of the tags, sure, you can still have that, but you're not going to have the chaos with the voting if we limit it to the 15 voting members. I think it's bad precedent. I think we need to stick with the 15 we've already voted on for the rest of the tags.
Okay, staff, if you could go back to the tag breakdown on the screen, please. Before we make any more adjustments, I'm going to hear from the 3 hands up in the attendees list. Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to just go down the list of things real quick. So architect necessary, building code officials definitely necessary, but I believe that should be split out to 2 positions, a west side and an east side, because very different geographical requirements with different things that the code officials are seeing. Then going down to the next one, commercial general contractor.
Yeah, what's the sound like?
What was that?
Larry, you're not up yet.
Commercial general contractor necessary, mechanical supplier. While I like the position, that has to be an SME on hold in order to make room for all the required positions.
You mean manufacturer supplier?
Electrical engineer, illumination engineer. There is no such licensed profession as illumination engineer. That is an electrical engineer. Electrical engineer does lighting. It also does solar. It does building power systems. So that should be corrected, just be electrical engineer. Mechanical necessary, utilities necessary, scooting on down, codes consultant educator. I mean, there's value in there, but if you're going to limit the positions, that should be an SME on hold. Scooting down farther, where it comes a solar installer, the L&I licensed contractor is a electrical contractor. That doesn't preclude a solar installer from those guys are electrical contractors, so it doesn't preclude them, but that should be electrical contractor. It covers more than just solar. And then going on down, trade association, that is super important, and that really should grab a person from AGC representing all the contractors in the state. And then you may want a small business representative too. So there's a lot to consider, but I mean, Washington State has their own custom code that they're writing, which is a lot different than all the other codes. All the other codes, you're just reviewing codes that are written by the ICC. So that takes a lot more input and a lot more work on the energy code than the other codes. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm going to remind everybody, we're 10 minutes from concluding the meeting. And I believe we need to get through this one as a group 1 code. So as much as I don't want to, I will entertain a motion to extend till 4:30.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, other than myself? Just kidding. Okay. Good comments. So we had Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, and I emailed that summary to Stoyan, so he should have it if that's helpful to have that as a record, but I emailed that to him. And if you want me to elaborate, I'd be happy to elaborate on the specific positions.
No, I think we're fine. I want to try to keep this brief, but all your comments are very, very valid. Lisa, go ahead.
Hi, thank you very much. My name is Lisa Roseno. I'm with Evergreen Technology Consulting, and we provide tech support for the commercial provisions of the Energy Code. Just had a couple of comments, one with regards to the size of the tag. One detail about the Energy Code that's kind of unique to some of the other codes is that it is a multidiscipline code. And so, there are topics that will come up, code change proposals that are, considered, that there will be members of the tag that it's not their area of expertise. And so that's one element where having additional members can be helpful. And so that's something I'd like you to consider. And then also with regards to the comments about the codes consultant or educator position, which is, I have to say, I've been involved in this for several code cycles. One thing that folks like myself and other disciplines as well is that we do bring to the table what we hear from the design professionals and the jurisdictions about code language that might be ambiguous or conflicting or just difficult to understand in general. And so that is we kind of we're like the voice of what we hear while we're out there providing education. So that is one of the roles of that particular position. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Gavin?
Yeah, Gavin Tenold here representing WASIA. Kind of echoing Lisa's comments there regarding tag makeup. And I want to speak specifically to the solar installer spot, which was created at the last code cycle on both commercial and residential energy codes. I believe that this next cycle is going to continue progress made toward properly designed on-site solar energy systems. And I want to kind of recall your attention to the letter that was shown earlier in the meeting sent by WASIA's president to council. It seems to be suggested by other comments here that this seat ought to go to a general electrical contractor in the more broad sense of the word. And I just want to direct your attention to RCW 19.28.041, which explains that electrical contractor licensure is required in order to engage, conduct, or carry on the business of designing, installing, or maintaining any electrical systems. I think that's going to include solar renewable energy, demand response, load shedding, smart panels, on-site energy storage, and EV charging. To me, it seems paramount in importance for this energy code tag, particularly the commercial tag, given that on-site renewables are now required for large buildings, to retain a dedicated solar export in order to make certain that these new technologies are fully utilized in our state's energy code future and not diluted in importance of this trade's expertise and input. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we go forward, just a reminder that, again, we're talking about the voting members of the TAG, not necessarily the people we'll be getting input from. So, Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, Bill Will, Washington Solar Energy Industries Association. Thanks for those comments, Gavin. Would like to reiterate, this technology is changing rapidly. It's important in the next code cycle and subsequent ones that there's some solar expertise in the room. One of the really emerging trends is the concept of virtual power plants, and that means local battery storage. Our members have expertise in that. I know there's been some emergency rulings over in the fire code in the last few years that input from the experts in that would be valuable. There's going to be another emerging trend is going to be integrating electric vehicle batteries into the grid, the concept of vehicle to grid. Many of our members have expertise in installing EV charging and will be on the lead in this technology as well. So as Gavin noted, please examine the letter that we provided to the council asking that these dedicated solar energy spots be retained in the energy code tags. Thank you.
Thank you. Larry, go ahead.
One thing that's glaring to me is half of these people that are in here should be from the west side and half of them should be from the east side. So we don't have an overload like we did that happened in this last code cycle where 6 of them from the Seattle area decided everything. And that's not what should happen. And then the more input you talk about what's causing all of these slots, it's because of what the legislature decided to do to us. And so we do need all these inputs to make sure that we're cost effective in what we're doing. And by limiting 15 of them down to 15 isn't the right thing to do with the pace that we're trying to achieve everything that we're trying to do. We need to get as many minds in here as we can to make this happen. And they need to be able to vote so the west side doesn't dominate everything. Thank you.
I think Damon froze again.
Yep.
I think
For chill.
next.
Yeah. Todd, are you taking over?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
see you.
no, that's okay. I'll
Go ahead.
say this. I think I agree with Larry that limiting to 15 is an artificial thing, and we might need more than 15. I think the list here is not bad. The RCW we looked at earlier did say appropriate state agencies. So government energy policy seems to be one of those that would be required by that statute. I am in support of maintaining a solar installer. It's part of the code and it is a unique thing. And as was said, the solar installer is necessarily an licensed electrical. I don't know that we're going to come up with an equally good list that's 16 people, a different equally good list that's 16 people. If we wanted to go 17 or 18, I think we could prioritize, but I think for 16 people, which is I think fine. This is as good a list as you're going to get, I think. So I'll make a motion to approve the list as modified today.
As modified right now, Joe.
As modified right now, which included yeah, a few of the modifications that are apparent on the screen, moving cost estimator down to SME, and it from an energy modeler as an or. And I think that was the only major change.
There was some discussion of moving manufacturer supplier down to.
Mhm. Well, what's
And
interesting,
splitting building official cities and counties.
Yeah.
yeah. I think if there's 16 or 17, I think if we needed to move cities and counties down and make a 17th, I think I'm okay with that. The reason why I will say something from manufacturer supplier is that we often hear, a lot of the energy code is moving towards heat pumps, and we often hear that heat pumps do this or don't do that, or electric or gas heat pumps do this or that. So having a manufacturer supplier of something, but who the person who's been on there has been a manufacturer supplier of heat pumps can actually say what they do from that perspective. So I've found that valuable input.
Okay. So there's a motion. Is there a second?
This is Todd. I'll second.
Okay. Welcome back, Todd.
Thank you.
So once again, I zapped out when we were in the middle of a public comment. We got two more people. Let's get their comments briefly and then see if we can wrap this up on the council level. Andrea.
Yeah, Andrew Smith from Building Industry Association of Washington again. Just would urge that solar installer be changed instead to renewables installer. I noticed in the 2021 energy code that was adopted, it has wind turbines that are listed, and given the logic given by the solar industry, I would imagine that they would also want a seat at the table as well as others. So maybe not limiting it just solely to solar. See what I did there? Would be beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you. Reeves.
All right, thanks. Another solar installer here. Really heartened by the opinions that I heard earlier today around expertise, lived experience versus licensure as a criteria. I echo earlier thoughts around keeping solar installers specifically. And just as a counterpoint to what we just heard, on-site wind is not really a thing in Washington outside of utility scale. It's a very rare, and I would be surprised to see it adopted by the Energy Code. I do think it should be a voting member. As was mentioned, we're already licensed electrical contractors, but most importantly, we're a specialty with unique insights that span beyond our trade into energy consumption, production monitoring, impacts with building systems, fire and life safety, operations maintenance, occupants, owners, investors, authorities having jurisdiction. We have to stay informed on cutting edge technology like energy storage, load shedding, smart panels, demand response, all this that's being deployed across the country. And then understanding, as there are arguments between East and West, how these technologies have to be installed in Pacific Northwest climates, no matter what side of the mountain it's on. And so I think the arguments have already been, I'll cut my comments short. Shell made the motion, but we're an integral part of the clean energy grid interactive buildings of the future that we see. And I would say over my 18 years of being in solar in Washington, I've been doing my fair share of educating engineers and architects who frankly can't keep abreast of how fast our industry is moving. We have teams of people who are dedicated to correcting and optimizing and making sure that those designs are not only buildable, but operable and maintainable. So I think that voice as a voting member is really critical. So thanks for hearing. Thanks for the work today.
Can I ask a question of Reeves, which is there a better word for something that is like a solar installer, but also includes that battery and demand response, that whole electrical package? Is there a term that would be better? Because I agree, those are part of it.
I would think for this code cycle, that's a really great question. I think we will see more companies evolve into kind of energy transition companies. I think this code cycle, if you were to say solar installer or solar and energy storage installer, there are solar installers who don't touch storage. So I think that would be important to include as understanding, what's going on within National Fire Code is great.
Thank you. I'd be willing to have it say solar/energy storage installer, something like that.
Okay, Thank you. Thank you, Reeves. Katie, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to echo a lot of what Chell said, and a recommendation that I think that I do think that energy code is different, especially this commercial one that requires that 2/3 vote, and all these extra spaces that are taken up by the RCW. So I like the 17. I like it with the solar and energy storage installer language, and glad that we were able to get the cities and counties in there too. So it seems like a pretty good list to me. Thanks.
Micah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get outvoted, but we already considered the number at 15. The council could use a ton more folks as well, but it's limited to 15, and that's where we came up with the 15 number. I feel like you folks, and I shouldn't single you out, but the energy code tags and those folks involved in it are devaluing the other tags. We had almost 20 proposed positions for the building code tag, almost 20 proposed positions for the mechanical, plumbing, and plumbing tag. But yet we didn't increase their numbers, and you didn't vote to increase their numbers. I think it's inappropriate. We're talking voting members. We're not talking about limiting voices. Everybody has a chance to attend the public tag meetings and provide their input, all their valuable input. We're talking about limiting voting members. So to say that the energy code needs 20 members when we had 20 positions we tried to fill for the building code tag, but we didn't vote to increase that number. I think it's inappropriate. It's not equitable. Let's stick with the 15 that we already voted for. I'm in favor of the positions that we can figure out and move some of them to SME, and they still have their input and valued input at the public meetings, just like everyone else does. We should limit it to 15 voting members like we do the other tags. Thanks.
Thanks, Micah. Roger?
I took my hand down and put it back up so I could talk after Micah, because I'm going to blow up his world. I think that the energy code, first off, I'm going to say my first meeting at the tag, at the building code tag, when I first, came into the council, there were about six positions filled, and I think there were about 10 or 12 that were not filled. So, I think if we can, I'm hoping we can get 15, get the full building code tag filled out this cycle. I think going with 17, I actually am going to make a proposal that we change it to 18, and you just make the environmental organization representative a Black position and make it 18. I think this code, the energy code, particularly the commercial, it is multifaceted. You could add a whole bunch of people, and I think that the environmental organizations need to be on there. It needs to be part of the conversation of the energy code. So I think, we've got solar, we've got gas, we've got electricity utilities. So we've got voices and voting voices from a lot of people. And I would actually make either an amendment. I would propose an amendment to make number 18 environmental organizations Black.
There's an amendment been proposed. Is there a second?
I'll second Jay.
That was actually Roger. Oh, Jay, I got you.
I'll consider that friendly.
Okay. Todd, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Reinforcing obviously the manufacturer piece, because a lot of the arguments, when we had delays or proposed delays were for supply chain. And then I'm with a couple other voices here. Let's find a better word for, I appreciate that it's installer, but it's really something about energy systems, and as we decentralize our systems and have, storage and so forth, these are going to be the topics we really need to discuss and integrate it in with fire consideration and so forth. So I support, whatever that term will be. So we'll get there. So thank you.
You bet. I think Andrea suggested renewable energy, which could be more encompassing.
I think that might be it, but I think there's also a microgrid, decentralized something that I just don't know the term.
Distributed energy.
Yeah, we're wordsmithing now. Ben, go ahead.
Thanks. Maybe Joe, you might be able to clarify, but for number 7, I'm not sure why energy building performance specialist got lumped in with mechanical engineer, but I would really recommend that be a mechanical engineer position. I don't know if we need to make a distinction to put that building performance slot somewhere else, but I would recommend that we just make that mechanical engineer.
I think that's a friendly amendment. Yeah, you can strike out the whole parenthetical remark.
Yeah. We've got our energy modeler who's going to perform a lot of those duties.
Yep.
Cod, your hand's still up, or Micah?
No, I've got a glitch. If someone can lower that for me, please. Thank you.
Micah, go ahead.
I have a point of clarification question for Dirk. It was not proposed on the agenda that we are evaluating the number of tag seats. We already made that vote. Would that have to be separated and based under reconsideration? Or are we able to do that on this motion as well? The combined motion, just a point of clarification.
Yeah, I don't see any.
Available.
Yeah, sure. I'm here and I'm even paying attention. I don't see any concerns with that if a majority of the council members elect to go in that direction. If you do have a concern with the point of order that it's not an agenda item, then you might need to have a vote on that, but I would leave that to the chair.
That's all right. Like I said, I'll probably get outvoted, but again, just devaluing the other positions of the tags.
Okay, I don't see any other hands up. I will make an observation. On the manufacturer supplier side, they came out in force when we were having trouble getting matched units, reaching the 11.0 HSPF or better. I think we could achieve Micah's goal by moving manufacturer supplier, government energy policy, and environmental organizations to red. They still get to participate, but it leaves our voting members at 15, which this council voted to do. So that's my comment. With that, let's do a roll call vote on. Let me, Shel, would you re-summarize your motion, please?
Yeah, the motion is to approve the list as seen before us earlier, and there have been a couple of subsequent friendly amendments to modify it to the point where we see it in front of us. So this is approving 18 positions for the Energy Code commercial, including what you see in front of you.
Okay, let's do a roll call, please.
Shel Anderson,
Yep.
Jay Arnold,
Yes.
Todd Bayreuther,
Aye.
Justin Borgalt,
Aye.
Micah Chappelle, Tom Handy,
Yes.
Roger Haringa,
Yes.
Kai Menzer,
Yes.
Ben O'Mara,
Yes.
Pete Reiki,
Yes.
and Katie Sheehan.
Yes.
Passes 10-1.
Okay, if I'm correct, the other two tags that we need to decide on are part of group 2, is that correct?
Group 2, we have the energy residential code, and we have the residential code. And I need to check, so we combined the WE code with the residential code. And it seems like we have the residential in group 2, but the WE code in group 1.
Can we make a modification to that?
Well,
the one thing I would like to dispose of today is to at least appoint the committee chair of the legislative committee, since the legislature's going strong. But I don't want to table this and come back to it necessarily.
well,
Also, it seems that the WUI's in a bit of flux because of motions made at previous meetings. So I don't know that that tag is going to get up as quickly as we thought. I may be wrong.
Amen.
Roger, you had a comment?
Yeah, I would just make a motion that we move to, I believe it's agenda item 12, which is the legislative committee. I think as the legislative session it's in session, it's short. We need to get that group officially functioning and up and running. This meeting, it can't wait any longer.
I agree, but we need to go to item 7 in order to appoint a chair for that committee. The item 12 was simply an initial report.
Okay.
Jill?
To staff, do we need to appoint chairs for any of the tags or committee chairs in order to stay on schedule for group 1?
Besides the legislative committee, we don't need to do that right now.
Okay, thanks.
We can do it in February.
So the chair would entertain a motion.
But the ledge committee, we need to appoint the members and the chair, because you're right, we are into the session right now.
Well, the legislative committee is composed of some of the chairs of other chairs, right?
It is.
We would need to appoint those people, right?
Yes, sorry about that. Yes.
So we have to commit, okay.
Yes, so I can share it on the screen.
So we need a BFP, MBE, ledge. That's it, those 3 committees.
Okay, this is the current membership. And this is how we established the ledge committee.
Right.
So the chair and the vice chair, so we're good with that. We have the chairs of the standing committees, and unfortunately, we don't have the chairs and the chairs of the standing committees, and we're not ready to do that because of it's part of the bylaws, the changes to the bylaws, because we combined 4 technical advisory groups.
What if, would it be appropriate to carry on until the next meeting with the existing legislative committee from last year?
Yes, with the exception that Tony Don will be replaced with Damon Doyle, and we have 1 open position. But yes, we can keep the same membership until February.
Okay. I would entertain such a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion in a second. Is there discussion? I hate punting, but we run out of time. Go ahead.
Just to be clear about the motion is to continue with the same legislative committee, with the exception of Tony Doan being replaced by Damon Doyle. And then
Damon Doyle is already a member.
We'd be short a member.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Thanks.
Okay. Tom, go ahead.
I'd be happy to throw my hat into that ring if it's appropriate now.
I would support that. Any objections?
That would be fine with me. That can be a friendly amendment. I think down below it's as appointed by the council. So
there you go.
Members.
Okay.
So that's fine with me.
Okay. So we'll replace Tony with Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Jay, go ahead.
And just point of clarification, just wanted to confirm that Todd, you're willing to continue to chair this committee.
Yes, I am. Thank you, Jay.
Excellent.
Good, thank you, Todd. Okay, so we've got a temporary committee until the next meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Hey, Chair,
Go ahead.
This is Todd. So on that note, just wanted to clarify that then we're saying we still can operate under the same action that we took last year. And I don't remember exactly how it's defined, but remember it was to enable the director and or the chair of the council to represent the council to inform, right? Not to take a position, but to inform on active bills.
Yes, yeah, I would say that carries over as well.
Good, thank you.
Yep. Okay, with 9 minutes remaining, I don't know if it's appropriate to pick up go back to the tag and committee items.
Well, in this agenda item, I have some housing bills here if you want to see them or not. If you don't, I can send it to you and post it on the website.
If you'd like to give a brief overview, that would eliminate item number 12 on the agenda, and you could also send it to us as well.
Well, we have good amount of bills, but HB 2071, it was introduced last year under 1167, I believe. So it adds some workload, but it was discussed again last year. Work group for simplifying the production of middle housing. So it used to be technical advisory group. It's now a work group. I asked the sponsor what the intent was. She wasn't sure. So I think we were prepared for that. This is new item 2, SBCC to convene a technical advisory group for the purposes of recommending amendments to the International Building Code that would allow for a minimum dwelling unit size. So that's something that we may need some more time to adjust because it refers to National Healthy Housing Standards published by the National Center for Healthy Housing. I'm personally not aware of that, so we need to research that. Something that's very important, and I was gonna raise the concern when you were talking about pushing further the effective date. So the last session, we spent so much time educating the legislators that it's very important for us to have the statutory mandates aligning with the triennial code adoption cycle. And hopefully most of the legislators, they agreed with that. So now the introduced bills, they have the effective date July 1st, 2024. And I'm working with the DES folks to pass the message that the new effective date is November 1st, 2024. So this will be something that most likely we'll have for all bills.
Okay.
But this is how it is. So if you decide to change it, the effective date again, I'll get in trouble with the legislators. So please don't do that. 22 HB 2275. This is more work for the council. Senior independent living requires the council to convene a technical advisory group for the purposes of recommending amendments to the codes applicable to senior independent living facilities to enhance building accessibility and safety for independent senior citizens and persons with disabilities. So there is a second part of this that rules applicable to assisted living facilities, nursing homes, long-term care facilities, and other similar living arrangements. So this specifies what we need to align the regulations with. And there is a reference to stakeholders, okay, experts in public health, fire and life safety, and building accessibility. This is the one that, the last one, yes, SB 5875. This is for the energy code. This was introduced by I was going to say Senator Linda Wilson, but I'm not sure right now.
It looks like Fortunato.
Yeah, it's for, yeah, so I'll be wrong, but it talks about affordability versus the life cycle cost. So we may have some issues here with the process. Currently we evaluate the proposals, not only the energy code, it's all codes based on the life cycle cost. So we have this life cycle tool, and this will trigger some additional requirements because we can't compare the life cycle cost analysis with the upfront. In summary for this bill, 6233 energy code amendments. So that one is Senator Linda Wilson. He's an ex-official. We discussed this 2/3, and this is the intent for her bill. She was trying to the text in the bill aligns with the messages she sent with her letter that was discussed.
I think she's coordinating with Representative Rommel on that, correct?
No, that's different. What she's coordinating with Representative Rommel is a bill that is related to the Council policies and procedures. It's in 1927. I'm most likely the bill was dropped today, but we were unready. The meeting was going on, so I don't have the details for that. So I don't have this bill here because I don't know the number yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
When bills pass, do they give the Building Code Council more money to convene all these tags and things like that?
We have fiscal notes for all bills, but I'm having a hard time to make the Office of Finance Management believe that we really need the money, and I'm not exaggerating. There are other agencies that are getting millions of dollars, and I haven't heard anybody saying anything, and we can't get like $100,000 for some reason. I don't know. But we have fiscal notes, and DS is helping with that to go forward to this. So if there is cost associated with it, I will have it in the fiscal note.
Do you see, should we schedule a meeting of the legislative committee? I don't see anything on the calendar, so it's.
So the Leg Committee, the schedule for 2020, the session before last year, so 2022, the meetings were on Fridays, and we didn't have issues with the quorum. And last year we moved the meetings to Thursdays, 9 o'clock for a reason. It was a better date, but we never had the quorum. So I don't know why, because folks got busy, weren't interested for some reason, but we had only one meeting with the quorum. All other meetings, I kept talking, and you guys kept listening and getting familiar with my accent, but we didn't have the quorum to have a vote. So if you want to keep it, it was 9 o'clock on Thursdays. In 2022, it was 10 o'clock on Fridays. I'm good either.
Todd, do you have a preference?
No, that's what I assume, so I'm fine with that.
So 9 o'clock on Thursdays?
Yes, if that works for everyone, but I'm flexible.
Okay. Micah?
I was hoping maybe we could have a meeting sooner. I think if we wait till next Thursday, we're going to miss some items. And then I do recommend, maybe I can email Stoyan a list of other bills that we should be concerned with, or at least have on our radar. There are 3 wildland urban interface bills. One of them exempts manufactured structures from the WUI code. One of them discusses reconstruction of communities damaged or destroyed by wildfires. And then one of them is the original bill proponent for the WUI code, modifying what they originally adopted significantly and pushing for a new map on wildfire risk and not vegetation like DNR has already done. So there's several bills I think we do need to have on our radar. So I would suggest, if we can, having a meeting for that legislative committee prior to Thursday next week. since we're already behind.
Hey, Micah, this is Todd. Yeah, I support that, and I would propose Monday or Tuesday, depending on how, if that's allowable for posting, if the other committee members are amenable.
Tuesday is available for me, Monday is not.
Tuesday, what time? 9, 10?
I think we try 9 if that works. Yep.
Yeah.
We can't do it on Tuesday. We need 72 hours notice, and Dirk is here. Dirk, 72 hours. Am I correct on that?
Or you're talking about OPMA.
The legislative committee, we haven't filed the meetings because at the time when we filed the council meetings and the rest of the standing committee meetings, we didn't discuss the ledge committee. So now we want to start with the meetings. We don't have the schedule filed with the court advisor's office. I assume we will need 72 hours notice to do that.
I can't, at this late date, I can't actually recall the number of days that you would need to under OPMA, but how many members are we talking about on the committee? Seven members?
7 with a representative from L.
Okay, I know the commitment is to have those committees be subject to the requirements of the OPMA, although technically it's not a quorum of the full council and wouldn't necessarily trigger requirements for under OPMA. One thing you can consider doing is having an informal work session meeting where action isn't taken, but
well, the committee doesn't. It's very unlikely the committee takes actions ever. So we can do that. The problem is that
technically discussion is an action for purposes of the OPMA, but I understand.
Yeah, we've gone over time, folks.
Yeah, this is the last thing anyone wants to be hearing about.
I will
I'll work with you. Yeah, I'll work with you on that if we need to.
Okay, and I will let you know what the outcomes.
Yeah, let us know our earliest date where we can meet. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. All right, we'll consider ourselves adjourned. Thank you, everybody. It's
thank
Do we need to move the other items to the next meeting?
Yes, I think
we didn't complete the agenda.
Yeah, entertain a motion to move all unresolved items to the next meeting.
Motion to table.
I will make that motion.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Well said. Thank you.